Hi, this is Brett Ingram, entrepreneur and award-winning product creator. And today I want to share with you 6 secrets to creating digital products that sell. So when we talk about digital products, what exactly do we mean? It's important to be very clear on exactly what we're talking about. So for a digital product, it's not just something that's sold online. It's literally a product that can be delivered in a digital format. So it could be a download, it could be an access, a members area, it could be software or something where people are able to log in and access the app. It can be a downloadable product like files or media or those kinds of things, or it could be like a training course with the members area where people go in, they're able to access it, and they're able to use the product in that particular way. And so when we're talking about digital products, that's specifically what we mean. And there's very good reasons for why people want to create digital products. I mean, the amount of digital products that are online is expanding and continues to grow. And the reason for that is because unlike creating traditional products, while it does take some time, does take some effort, there may be some investment of some sort, it's certainly far less than it would be to try to create any type of physical product where you need to have a prototype, you need to make things made, you have to have it manufactured, and then you have to still hope that you can sell it or market it. With a digital product, well, it might take a little bit of sweat equity, as they say, because we might need to spend some time creating the content. Unless we're getting some high-end software app developed where we have to pay developers to do it, really, especially for info products or e-learning products, those are all things that we can do ourselves. And so the nice thing about it is the overhead, at least financially, is a lot smaller. It might take a lot of time, but it's okay. And so a lot of people want to get into this, and a lot of people want to create those kinds of products because they recognize the benefit that you can sell it over and over and over again. Your store can be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and there's really no limit to how much you can make. The variable cost, the amount that it costs you for each additional unit sold, is negligible to zero. And so the great thing about it is if you're selling, some sort of physical widget, every time you sell one, you need to manufacture another one. So if it's a hamburger, you still need to buy the beef, you need to cook the beef, you need to do all those things, put the bun in every single time that you sell one. And so even if you're buying in bulk, you still have a variable cost that's associated with every new unit that you sell. Whereas with a digital product, once you've got it all set up, in general, you're able to sell unlimited and you never have to worry about that. So it's one of the really great things about digital products. And so that's the reason that a lot of people want to get into it. And the fact is, it does work. I mean, I've sold lots of digital products and sold millions of dollars worth of digital products, whether they be info products or courses or software. The majority of my business over the last 10 years has been in the software business, but I've also done the other kinds of things as well. And so there's a huge demand for it. And when it's done right, it can be a really great thing. But that said, there's a downside to it too, because you can create products that nobody wants and you can spend all of your time in it or money, or if you're outsourcing anything and then not make anything. And that's not a situation anybody wants to get into. So the question becomes, how do we actually create the digital product that we want to make? And how do we know it'll sell? Like, how can we create a product that we feel confident putting our time and energy into because we know at the end of the day it's actually going to sell and be able to make us money? Well, I've had the fortunate experience of getting to know a lot of different digital marketers and digital entrepreneurs over the last 15 years or so. And there's a couple of stories in my mind that in particular stick out because of the nature of either how successful or how unsuccessful products that they had were. The first one is there was a guy named Chris, and Chris created, in times when Google was a little bit a little bit more Wild West. It was a little bit less well known in terms of exactly how to do search engine optimization and generate traffic. He created all of these traffic guides about how to get traffic from Google. And, one of the things about it is, even though at the time there were very few people who knew who he was, this product caught on, and he was able to sell lots and lots of it, thousands and thousands of copies. And the thing of it is, it wasn't even software. It was just an info product. It was basically like an ebook that explained the steps for how to generate traffic from Google. And so that's basically what he had done. He had put together this course, and he had put it in an ebook or whatever, and he had sold it. And he sold thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of copies of this, made a lot of money doing it, even though at the time, he developed a reputation after doing that. But at the time, nobody really knew who he was. He didn't have, super marketing skills or any of these other things, or big connections or all that. And he launched it using sort of affiliates and everything else, and was able to make a lot of money on a simple, basically, ebook or guide, something like that. And so that was one example of how well it can actually work. But there's another guy, and his name is Mike, and he's a super nice guy, and I've known him for a long time. And it's funny because he actually created a product, and this guy was an awesome affiliate and JV partner. So when everybody in the digital marketing industry or digital marketing space was creating and launching software products or info products, this guy was always promoting them and always just crushing it, selling a ton of copies, doing really, really well. He was a really stand-up guy, nice guy, like the nicest guy you'd ever meet, and had an excellent reputation. Everybody knew who he was, and everybody knew that he was a guy you wanted to go to bat for. If he ever created products, everybody wanted to promote them because he always promoted for you and was always able to really push a lot of sales. And we knew anything he created would be really high quality. Well, he decided that he was going to create this info product about setting up JV or joint venture relationships. And the whole idea was, how do you go out there and get joint venture partners? How do you go out there and get other people to promote for you? It's certainly in his wheelhouse. It was his expertise because it's what he did. He was promoting for other people, and then he was trying to show other people how to do it. Well, the whole industry, all the big players in the industry were on board to promote this because he didn't launch very often, he didn't create a lot of products, and we knew that he put a lot of time and energy into it and that it was going to be really, really high quality. Well, unfortunately, it was an absolute bomb. It didn't sell, nobody was buying it, and everybody was still pushing it. And I remember seeing him send messages out to partners saying, you know what, it's not really converting, no one's buying it, please, you don't need to promote it anymore. And his partners were so loyal and thankful for all what he had done that they all responded, including me, and said, hey, don't worry about it, we all have one now and then where we take it on the chin. The fact is, you're a great partner, we're going to promote it anyway and help you sell as much as we possibly can. And that's basically what we all did. But the fact is, here's a guy that came in with every advantage to be able to create a product and yet wasn't able to sell it successfully, when there was a guy who didn't have any of those advantages and yet was able to make thousands and thousands of sales. So what is the difference? Why was Mike not able to make his sales, but Chris was able to make his and do it so easily? Well, the thing of it is, first of all, whether it's an info product, a course, software, or anything else, any kind of digital product, it can sell or not. So it isn't the fact of you have to sell software or you have to sell info products or e-courses or videos. None of that is true. The fact is, any of it can sell. What there needs to be is a demand for it. People need to want it. If they don't want it, then it isn't going to matter what you create, how many bells and whistles are on it, or how cool it is, right? So that is the super important thing. So basically, there are 6 secrets to creating digital products that sell. And if you follow these 6 secrets, then what happens is you get yourself in a position where you set yourself up for success. You sort of get the answers to the test, before the test is given. Wouldn't that be cool? Back in school, if the teacher sort of slipped you a version of the test and you could study it, then you knew exactly what was going to be on there and go in and ace it. But at any rate, these 6 things, if you follow them, will do wonders in terms of helping you make digital products. And the first one of those is to understand the pulse of the market now, right? So combine that with a forecast for tomorrow. So what I mean by that is we need to understand the general landscape. So outside the bubble of digital marketing, what's going on? What are the things that people are interested in? What are the things that, are relevant and are things that are in demand or, high traction right now? For example, if I decided I was going to make a traffic exchange and I thought it would be the best traffic exchange that was ever made, you might be thinking, what's a traffic exchange? That's because traffic exchanges are no longer relevant. A traffic exchange is basically just a website where you could put your ad up, other marketers would put their ads up, and the more you browse the site and watched other people's ads, the more credits you earned, and your ads would show for other people. And that was basically the idea. And it was a clever way to generate some sort of traffic for people that didn't have a budget or weren't able to spend the money to do it. But the fact is that it was sort of an old school thing. It's come and gone. So to make a traffic exchange now wouldn't make any sense because people aren't interested in it. There's not going to be a demand. So it isn't going to matter what it looks like, how well it runs, any of those other things, because the pulse of the market has passed that by. Now we need to combine that with a slight forecast for tomorrow. If we're going to create something and we aren't going to be able to launch it and start selling it tomorrow, then we need to make sure that we have one eye on the future. So what is the direction things are heading in, right? So for example, AI is a great example of this. If we were going to do something along the lines of AI and create a product, well, that's great. It's certainly in the wheelhouse in terms of the pulse of the market today. However, we also want to be very conscious of the fact of what is the direction all that stuff is moving in and what are the latest developments? What are the latest, what's the latest buzz about it? So that way, when we're creating something, we don't find out that by the time it's done, it's already passé and nobody wants it anymore. We want to make sure that it's future-proofed, at least short-term, to some extent. And so that's the first secret. The second secret is to see what's already selling best. Now, this is basically $1 million tip. If you get nothing else from this entire episode, this is the most important thing. We can find out what's already selling if we just use a little bit of quick online research. So there are online marketplaces like jvzoo.com and clickbank.com and Warrior Plus, right? And these are all marketplaces that sell digital products. They have products put up there by marketers, by digital product creators, and they're marketed by affiliates. So affiliates go out and promote and mail for those products. They earn commissions and the product owner makes sales and earns money making sales. But the genius of this, or the brilliance of this, is that they all have leaderboards. They all have sales stats. They all will show you the things. They all work slightly differently, but they'll all show you the things that are selling really well. So for example, on JVZoo, there is a thing for top sellers. It will show you the top selling products today, yesterday, and in the past. That's a very short list, but you could also do a search. You could do search by keyword, you could do search by product name or product type, and it will show you not only the products that are available, it will show you when they launched, so how long they've been on the market. It'll show you how many they've sold, and it'll also show you the conversion rate, which is super important because it's important to understand one of the key dynamics and metrics in measuring how popular a product is isn't just the pure number of sales. It's also the conversion rate. How many people out of every 100 are buying it? And the reason for that is this. If we go back to my friend Mike's example, he ultimately probably made a decent number of sales, but he had a ridiculous amount, like a tsunami of traffic going to his offer because everybody was promoting it. For the average affiliate, if they promoted it, they didn't make any money. but because he had every top affiliate in the industry doing it, the pure sales numbers probably weren't as bad as they would have been, but the conversion rate was really, really low. That means it's not a high demand product. So we want to look beyond just the pure statistics of numbers of sales or revenue generated, and we also want to look at the conversion rate. ClickBank is very similar in that there's a marketplace and it's broken down by category. And they have lots of different categories and tons of different niches. So it isn't just software, it isn't just make money online or those kinds of things. They have lots of different things like hobbies and all these other types of categories, health and fitness. And the thing of it is, you can look there and they have what's called a pulse score. And the pulse score also is going to show you how like popular that product is, but you can see the various statistics for all of these different products. Warrior Plus also, Warriors actually might be called the pulse score. ClickBank's might be called something, a gravity. On ClickBank it's gravity, Warrior Plus is the pulse. They all have their own term, but the idea is exactly the same. It's what's selling hot, what's currently selling right now, and what the highest conversion rates are. So that's the other thing. How recent is the sale? If something converted like gangbusters and sold, 10,000 copies, but it was 4 years ago, it might not be relevant anymore. So if we check out how recent the sales are, what the conversion rates are, and the number of sales, now we're on to something. And so we can see what's already selling best. And when we do that, then we're in really good shape in terms of being pointed in the right direction. Then we move on to step 3, or this third secret, which is a deeper dive into products in the niche that we're interested in. So let's say that we find 10 or 15 different things and one of them piques our interest. We want to look at all the top selling products in one particular niche. Let's just say we're on ClickBank and we're looking into gardening. So we're going to find the top 4 or 5 highest converting products in gardening, and we're going to click through. We're going to see what their sales pages look like. We're going to look to see if there's any customer reviews, any customer complaints or suggestions that are listed about that. And you can just do a search by the product name and reviews or complaints or suggestions or whatever, and you'll be able to see anything that might have been posted. And when possible, if we're really serious, we can buy it and try it. We can buy these products and try them out, see what the user experience is like, see what content is in the actual product, so we can design our own and get tips for how we would want to do it. Now, important to understand, I'm not suggesting you buy and copy somebody else's product. I'm saying we buy it so we understand what they did, what needs they're filling, and how they set it all up, so we get answers to the test and clues to how we'd want to do our own. We can model that, but we're not going to copy it. The fourth secret, is to engage with the customers for that product where they already hang out so we can learn more. This is really brilliant because this little bit of market research allows us to not only pre-build our customer base and pre-sell our customers, but also get to know what their pain points are, get to know what their issues are, get to know what their feedback is. We can join niche Facebook groups about that. So we can look up gardening groups on Facebook or gardening forums or any kind of chats or communities, anything that we find online where we can get involved in the conversation. We want to see what the conversation is that's going on around it and what people are saying, what they like, what they don't like, what their complaints are, what they wish they could find. And we want to engage, ask questions, help when we can, get an understanding. If we start to build a reputation in there and start to build some relationships in there, we're pre-selling a customer base and we're also getting our best market research we could possibly get. And then the fifth secret is to find a unique, untapped angle or fill a hole or a need. So with any given product or series of products in any given niche, it's always a moving like an escalator, right? There's always something else that people are looking for. And so they could be additional features to products that other people have made. They could be add-ons to what somebody did. Maybe somebody made a great guide about how to do something, but didn't include a checklist. So we can make a checklist for it. Maybe it's the previous step or the next step. If someone's talking about how to grow an organic garden, maybe we make something about how to prepare for, your gardening, life in gardening, or, how to take your gardening stuff and, monetize it, or whatever we want to do. We could take a previous step, a next step that would be logical to what people are already doing, or add-ons, or whatever else, or features. And those are all other things that we can do in order to be able to create our own product. Our product that, now we understand what kinds of products were successful. We understand what the pain points are for the people that are buying these products and that are interested in these kinds of products. And we understand where the holes are that we can fill. So once we go and we do that, we can start to create our own little product and start to put it together. And then the sixth secret, and this is another, awesome thing to do if you have a chance to do it, is to share a beta version or early attempts with those potential customers so you can get feedback. So the idea is, again, if you're engaging in the communities where they're hanging out, and now you're starting to create something, before you spend all the time and energy on it, even maybe you've just done an outline or you've done a little bit else, you can float it out privately to a few of the people that you trust and ask them what their thoughts are, what their opinions are, what they would add to it, what they would change. And you can use that as a guideline. So that way you can verify in advance that your time will be well spent because there'll be demand for your product. You can ask them, is this something, if it were a legitimate full-fledged product that you would buy, that you would spend money to get? How much do you think it would be worth? These kinds of questions are the best market research you can get. And so you can verify your time is going to be well spent before you spend the time. Most people create the whole product and then they hope that it will sell. If instead we do it this way, we pre-sell it, we know it's going to sell before we make it. And we can optimize the product for sales and success because we can get the answers to the test. They're going to tell us what they want. They're going to tell us what they don't want. They're going to tell us what they like and they don't like. We can modify the product to fit all of those needs and make sure that we have a slam dunk. The digital marketing landscape can seem very simple, and this is sometimes the trap, but it can be tricky to navigate in reality. Digital products are comparatively easy to make, but they're not always easy to sell. By making sure we're creating something people want or need, we position ourselves in the best possible situation for success. So the takeaway here is creating digital product, whether software or e-courses or whatever, lets us tap into the digital marketing industry and all the benefits of it. But not just any digital product will sell. We need to understand how to pick the right product, how to create it, and how to market it to be successful. And it all starts with having a product people want and are willing to pay money to get.